Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Catherine Bentley, and this is my son, Jonathan. And we just wanted to get on here for a minute and talk about a couple things that we feel have helped us. And so we want to direct this towards the parents and the youth of the church and their relationships with one another. Just recently, we had a Fifth Sunday where our bishopric and Relief Society got together and made a presentation of what it is that we need to be doing better as parents to make sure that we're reaching out and connecting to our youth, so they don't feel like they're just constantly alone in this world, or whatever they're struggling with, they feel like they can come to us and that we can have a close relationship and we can help them and encourage them. So it was really good. It really helped me. It just touched my heart, and there was a lot of things that I'm like, okay, I'm doing some things right. There's some things I could probably do better. And, so that's kind of what we're doing here today. So I'm gonna turn the time over to him.
So a lot of things she learned in that she got us to do was helping me strengthen our communication. So ways we were able to do that. What do? Every time we used to have a hard time talking to each other, but now we are able to communicate better by I listen better. I used to have a problem just ignoring her and not listening because I was busy doing other things. But now I've learned to take some time out of my time and listen to what she says, so I can know what to do, whether she's asking me to go clean the house or something. And then I do that. And then we talk about how we can also improve our relationship with our parents, things we do with each other. And we talked about ways we can strengthen our relationship with our parents. And a couple ways we do that in our family is we have these sit-down talks with, say, our dad about every month, and he just asks us how we're doing, because obviously there's a lot of people in our family, and it's good to know where everyone's at. Some people might be struggling with things, and if you don't help your kids with that, then they're not going to be able to get through it, because a lot of kids, especially my age, just don't feel safe or feel like they can talk to their parents about anything. And I like being able to have that, because if I have a problem in my life, I can go to my parents and they'll be there for me and be like, hey, we'll help you, we'll do this and that. And it really helps me. And if you're not able to do that with your kids, then it's kind of been buried. And they talked about how we need to get closer to our kids, because the way the world is right now, they're trying to distance and break apart the family. That's Satan's goal.
Yeah. I remember when I was going to school in high school back in the day, right? And I just remember it was pushed pretty heavily that by our teachers, we have the answers. We are all educated and have degrees.
So they taught us in our school.
Yeah, and they still do to this day. And a lot of the TV shows, a lot of everything points to parents are dumb and stupid. I mean, the books that I've read and that have continued to be put out there are all the kids are figuring it all out for themselves, and the parents it has to be kept from the parents, and their parents are stupid, and then they have to go save the whole world themselves, right? With no tools, no nothing, and that's the opposite of the way the family unit should be. We should be there helping our children grow. And one of the things that helped me a lot was the understanding that I need to be there at my children's crossroads. So what I mean by that is I'm lucky enough to be home and staying home with my kids. And so I'm there at the crossroads when they get up and they're going to school in the morning and when they come home. And so things are on their mind, especially when they're on their way home. Things are on your mind. You've gone through a bunch of stressful things that day, and you come home and I'm the first thing you see. And if you've got something on your mind, I'm there to speak to you. If I'm not there, you're going to go through your day burdened by your things and not able to process your thoughts, right?
A lot of my friends and stuff, they just don't feel safe. They can't talk to their parents. They just don't care. And
there's not a connect with the parents.
If all you do is discipline your kids, I'm not saying don't discipline your kids, but you got to show love too. You got to show that you're here for them. I'll just use two examples. You can just yell at your kid, go to your room, do this, or you yell at them and you can explain them. You got to work on this. You can't keep doing this or you're going to hurt us and the family. We care about you. We love you. And you just got to remind them that, because I know a lot of people, if you don't hear those words, I saw this quote yesterday. It's every person needs to hear I love you at least once or twice a day. And I know a lot of people don't hear that once or twice a month. And it's sad, just the reality of the truth. I'd like to share a talk. It's by Elder Larry Y. Wilson of the 70, and it was during April 2012. And he says, and it's kind of a long story, but How to let your kids exercise agency. Our family had an experience that taught us about helping children develop their ability to make choices. Our daughter Mary was a standout soccer player growing up. One year her team made it to the championships, and wouldn't you know it, that game was to be played on a Sunday. As a young teen, Mary had years of teaching that the Sabbath day was of rest and spiritual regeneration, not recreation. But she still felt recreation. But she still felt pressure from her coaches and teammates to play, as well as a desire not to let her team down. She asked us what she should do. My wife and I could easily have made this decision for her. However, we decided after prayerful consideration that in this case, our daughter was ready to take the spiritual responsibility for her own decision. We read some scriptures with her and encouraged Mary to pray and think about it. After a few days, she announced her decision. She would play the game on Sunday. Now what were we to do? After further discussion and receiving reassurance from the Spirit, we did as we had promised and permitted her to carry out her choice and to play. After the game ended, Mary slowly walked over to her waiting mother. "Oh, Mom," she said, "that felt awful. I never want to feel like that again. I'm never playing another game on the seventh day." And she never did. This is so true. If you never give your kids the opportunity to learn for themselves, they're always just going to be like, "Oh, my parents told me to do that, so I'm not going to do that." And there's no opportunity for them to learn. And then when you get out into the real world, for example, I'm paying for my own car, and I need that knowledge so I can you build a budget and do things in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm just baby money and daddy, all this stuff, it's not going to help me at all. I mean,
yeah, if I just tell you how to think and what to do, and then you get out in the world on your own someday, how are you going to learn to think for yourself and problem solve? It's a problem solving, right? How is he going to figure out how to make decisions if we always did it for him?
It's the same thing spiritually. I'm sure y'all already do that with your kids, but if you don't give them don't give them the opportunity to exercise their agency, then they're never going to know what's right or wrong. And that's just the biggest thing. If you never have those experiences and go through those straws, like it said in the talk, she felt awful. And if she wouldn't have known that, she would have always just hated her parents. "Oh, they won't let me do this on Sunday. I hate them. They can't let me do my soccer." Because that's how a lot of people are. They're passionate about their goals. And if they don't know for themselves that it's wrong, then it's going to be really hard for them to listen.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming today. We'll hopefully make more of these soon. And how do you end these?
Thanks for stopping by the Bentley Homestead. Nice talking to you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.